So here's a question. How many videos did you watch yesterday? Do you have any idea? Because I don't. I have no idea. And even if you remembered how many videos you'd seen, the second question I'd have is, what do you remember from those videos? I remember virtually nothing. I can think of one video off the top of my head that I saw yesterday, and it was a video that I made an intentional effort to sit down and watch. And I analyzed it, and I thought about it, and I took the time to really review it. It's the only one. But I probably also spent an hour yesterday looking at other videos, short and medium length videos, and I don't remember a single thing from them. And so the question becomes, if we have access to all this knowledge and all this information, and we spend so much of our day looking at it, I mean, the amount of information that people receive on a day-to-day basis is 100 times the amount that a normal person would have received in a month in even the early 1900s or mid-1900s. And yet, where does it go? Where does it go? It's not going in your brain. It's all just so insubstantial. And I think this is a larger argument of the incredible mass consumption of things that our culture has gone to. And I think that the next series of videos I'm going to make are going to relate to this. But the fact of the matter is that we spend so much of our time consuming content that basically does nothing for us and goes nowhere. Aside from perhaps in that moment being interesting and amusing and an opportunity to have discourse with your friends. Hey, look at this funny video I saw. Hey, this reminded me of you. Hey, what do you think of this? And if the friend actually gets around to watching it, which chances are they only will if you're sending them something that's less than a minute, they'll send you some quip back, and then you'll forget about it. You'll never remember it. And so we spend so much of our time learning nothing and just consuming. And so all this information is effectively useless. Even when you watch a video that would have an impact on you in person. Let's say someone's telling you about their experience, I don't know, a difficult experience in their childhood. You watch the video, and chances are you'll go, oh wow, yeah, that's bad. Oh man, feel really bad for this guy. Hey, look at this next video. It's about a cat dancing. Right? You forgot about it. You forgot about it already. Just before making this video, I was watching things on I don't even remember, and that somehow led to how to buy land for less than $1,000. Great video. But the point is that we spend so little of our time deciding what we want to do. I don't want to sit here and say we're slaves to the algorithm, but I do want to say that we are susceptible to the influence of the machines that make decisions for us. AI is definitely playing a bigger role in this, but look at the YouTube algorithm, right? You watch a video, and then you're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Do I really want to sit here and think about what I just saw? Maybe not. That's going to take time and effort. Well, let's just watch the next video. And so you're just passively consuming all this content. And so I think that internet learning is not bad in and of itself, but I think that there is an inherent laziness to it and a distance, a dissociation between the type of information that we as humans really need to thrive on and the type of information that we're receiving. Hank Green made a video on this about that you're not like addicted to your phone, but you're just like starved for content, like quality content. I think he's right. I think he's right in the sense that I think he's right in the sense that we do starve for quality content, but I don't necessarily think that quality content comes from online. It's almost uncomfortable these days to sit down in front of a computer and to watch a video intentionally. I find, at least. To like sit there and be focused on it. I have an instinct that's like, well, I want to play a video game while I do it. Or I want to like be writing while I do it. Or I want to do something else. It's like the memes where you see people having like the Subway Surfers and Minecraft shorts and all these things playing while they're doing their homework. And it's like, why can't we just sit still and appreciate one thing? Why is that uncomfortable? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what the answer is to that one. I would love to hear what people think about it, and I think that, like most of my videos, further study would be really beneficial. But the fact of the matter remains that there's something uncomfortable about giving something our full attention. Maybe it's vulnerable. Maybe it's just because we've trained ourselves not to, and so we have minds that operate now on this bandwidth of not giving anything our full attention, and to give it our full attention triggers some sort of discomfort in the use of resources of our brain, or our dopamine receptors aren't being satisfied, and we're not getting enough dopamine because we're just doing one thing. But that is how humans have lived for all time, basically, is they did the thing and only the thing. And when you look at how people gained knowledge, it was in settings where the only activity they were really doing was gaining knowledge, whether it was experiential or in a classroom or something like that. And you see a movement today where classrooms are banning phones, which I think is great. And I think that it does play a big role in our focus, that when you have the opportunity to not pay attention to something wholly and intentionally, your brain probably won't, or at least the brains that we've developed in this day and age won't. But you're not going to learn things then. And that's my problem with internet learning, is that it's almost like the way to get people to look at content is by making content that people are going to be able to consume quickly. But it's just it just hits the divot of the recess where you're looking for great content to fill your brain, knowledge, right? This basic human need for knowledge and learning. And it just barely satisfies it. So then you got to keep going down the line looking at content that's doing you nothing except killing time. And you're not going to remember it. And how could you? Because if you remembered every single video that you saw and try to recall all that information right now, you would just go kaput. Your brain would just catch on fire. And it's just so much, and we become desensitized to it. Which makes, once again, learning critical information in a one-on-one intentional setting very difficult. Because we're so used to this hyper intense learning. We're so used to people speaking super fast and flashing images and this and that and 20 different things happening at once. It's hard to fully let something sink into us. And again, maybe it feels uncomfortable to allow something to fully sink into us. There's a vulnerability there that we're opening ourselves up to really considering something. And I think that, honestly, we really don't like that. I think that that's true of humans in general. People like to run away from their problems. I am 100% guilty of this. And the internet makes it so accessible. If you have a bad day, what do? You watch YouTube videos. You go on TikTok. If you have a problem with someone, what do? You play a video game, right? Maybe even read a book, whatever. Maybe it's not as bad as TikTok or something. But there's something really uncomfortable about sitting there and addressing the thing that needs to be addressed. It's okay, it has to happen. We got to do it. I've had a bad day. Let's think about it. Back in the day, way back in the day, humans, when they had a bad day, there was nothing to do other than to think about the bad day you had and to process it. And so in consuming all this useless content, basically, that you're not going to remember, it's not going to do you any favors, it's literally contributing nothing to your life aside from it's just taking your time away. It's not adding anything. You are losing the time that you need to process. And some people need more time to process, and some people need less time to process. But your brain is sitting there waiting in this very moment as you watch this video, saying there's something I need to be processing, but you keep shoving it to the back burner. You keep saying, we'll get to it later, we'll get to it later, we'll get to it later, we'll get to it later. Watch this video, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this other thing. And so, it's so frustrating that it's so hard to fight this. That you have to make an intentional effort to say, no, I'm going to literally just sit with my thoughts. No, I'm going to actually just go for a walk. Or I'm going to do a rote task that's going to allow me to think and allow me to process. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to do whatever. And I'm not going to do it distracted. I'm just going to do it in and of itself. So difficult, right? People talk about multitasking. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to listen to my audiobook. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go, whatever. And sometimes it's it seems fine, but are you really going to remember the audiobook as well if you're exercising. I don't know. For me, I don't. For me, I find that if I'm listening to something I find engaging, I'm either not paying that much attention to it and doing the thing that I'm doing, exercise, playing a video game, whatever, or the thing starts to become engaging enough to where I stop doing that main activity I was doing and start listening to it. Again, people say humans aren't meant to multitask, and I think this is the proof of that, is that when something really captures your attention, you want to pay attention to that and that alone. Maybe there's some survival instinct there. But the fact of the matter is that the setup we have, where we learn online and learn online, makes it really difficult to actually learn, because humans learn by doing one task with their attention on that task. And when you just go from one thing to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, you're not giving yourself time to process. You're not giving yourself time to absorb what you've seen. You're not even giving the due respect to what you're watching, and the thing probably doesn't even deserve your respect. I mean, watching a silly video on TikTok, why would you pay it any mind? But then that bleeds into more substantial things. You watch, I think that it's the desensitization. Like, you watch a horrible thing that happens on TikTok, like, again, someone talking about something that was really terrible, and you're like, wow, that sucks, and you just move on, and come even an hour later, you have no recollection of even seeing it. So how can we learn things if we have a system that doesn't allow us to learn? Now, my solution for this, of course, and my way, would be to have more in-person people working together, one-on-one, as I kind of mentioned in the previous video, apprenticeships, mentors, peers, people working together in community to try to learn, in school, in work, in whatever. I think you can absolutely learn so much online. There are people who have been able to teach themselves all sorts of skills from the internet. But the people that do it intentionally. And so if you're going to use the internet to learn, then the internet should be used in a way like you would use it like a classroom, basically, where you sit down and you're taking notes and you're paying attention to the thing you're doing, and you're only paying attention to that. Because otherwise it's just all too easy to get distracted and just forget. And I think that the other point that makes internet learning very difficult is that it's not experiential. If I hear about something online from a video, there's already this distance between me and the person I'm hearing it from. It's not like we're in the same room. It's not like we have like some sort of presence with each other, communicating non-verbally or connecting non-verbally, which does, I think, allow the information to sink in better. We're also in a position where it makes it very difficult to embody what we've learned. Because when you are learning something in real life, in a classroom, you're writing on the paper. You're hearing the words, you're in the space. Right? There is a spatial element to learning, even if it's passive. But that's kind of removed when you're online. It's all just kind of like information that's just flowing into you. And it just often flows right out of you. Because you need to do something, and at the very least be mindful of it, to have that sink into you. You need to make an effort to remember it. You need to ground it with something physical or experiential, right? If you watch a video on how to draw, and then you kind of vaguely try drawing based on what you remember from the video, it's probably not going to be that effective. Unfortunately, the way that you're going to have to learn how to draw from the video is by going through the video piece by piece and like drawing, like trying to draw and being like, okay, I forgot a lot of the stuff that was in the video. Let me go back to the video, watch it again, and let me pay more close attention to it and like take the specific things that I need to improve and then write it down and then go back to the literal drawing board, draw it again, and keep going like this repetitive process. Because that's another point. I think it's all too easy to say, I've seen the video, I've learned it, the end. But learning doesn't stop when you've seen the video. And when you have that mentality, you're not going to learn it. If you watch a video and check a box in your mind of, I know it, you'll forget it. So you have to be open to the fact that you didn't remember it all and that you might need to watch the video again. And that's bad because we have a lot of demands on us and our time is very precious. So to watch a video a second time, oh my gosh, what a waste of time. And you might watch it a second time and still have your mind be elsewhere and still not even pay attention to it. So anyway, this has been a long rant to say that I think that we can learn a lot from the internet, but the internet itself and the way that people produce content is making it very difficult to do so. People should be pausing videos when they watch them and thinking about it. People should be interacting as much as they can with the video. Doesn't mean they have to be commenting, doesn't mean they have to reach out to the creator. It means that they should be making their own notes, doing their own activity in relation to it, doing their own research. And it feels so easy to not do that because it's so far, like this, the video feels so distant. And the information, again, it just feels like a checked box. I know it, got it, downloaded it. But we're not machines that just download information and then there it is forever. I mean, maybe one day, and that'll be a very interesting future. But we need time to process. And we need to allow ourselves that time to process. And we need to allow ourselves the time to be repetitive in our learning and to embody that learning, to have a spatial element to it, to have a connective element to it. And I fear that the internet is moving in the exact opposite direction of that. I think people that make quality content do exist, of course, but it just feels like everyone wants to get to the punchline. Everyone wants to get the checkbox and move on. And I'm 100% guilty of this too. But it's not about checking the box. It's about learning. And I think our schools do us a disservice too. I mean, I learned to get good grades. I did not learn how to learn. And I did not appreciate learning. But the progression of life is completely insubstantial unless you are actually growing as a person. We're all too used to someone else saying, you've done it. Here's your reward. Here's your prize. Here's your mark. Here's your grade. Let's move on. Forget what you learned. But then you're just like, that's just not what humans are meant to be. You're not building a foundation. You're constructing a temporary home and then just replacing it every single time. And so I think that's what we need to do, is whether it's through internet content or in person, is to make a better effort of building a foundation in ourselves and what content we consume and how we learn and how we exist in the world. And that we let ourselves be shaped by the influences around us. We have a discerning eye as to what influences we want to be shaped by, but we open ourselves up to the fact that there are opportunities for growth. And that means putting more bricks in the foundation of the house and ultimately constructing the house. And not some sort of temporary thing that just gets the job done and then you replace it as soon as the next job comes along. Hopefully that makes sense. So, that's all I've got.